who's watching this now live and who's watching this afterwards. We are going to be breaking down House of the Dragon, episode 8, the trailer. I made a video this morning. I got halfway through editing it, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go live. Let me just do a live stream because, it's more fun. And also, there's only 3 episodes left. So if you enjoy my content, you better go ahead and do yourself a favor and subscribe. I'm pretty close. Last I checked, I was like 250 subscribers away from 100,000, which is key and quintessential. Already got the silver play button. I don't know what side it's on, but the main reason why I ask people to subscribe is for 2 things. One, I'm being shadow banned. Go on YouTube, type in House of the Dragon, make sure you're incognito mode, not signed into your account. My content doesn't pop up. It's not the best, but I've been consistently making it for 2 years, so it should show up. It's not being shown up in YouTube's algorithm. So subscribe. Hopefully, once I reach 100,000, it'll continue to end. It looks like it's going down the shadow ban because I'm getting more and more views per video and also more comments and more likes, and that's the way to get promoted in YouTube's algorithm. So maybe it is ending, but anyway, all that aside, let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown of the trailer. Let's see, there we go. All right, so in the very first image, right, this won't be it won't be that long. I'm gonna say what's up to the chat, but it's just going to be breaking down the trailer. I'm sure most people have already seen it. So, it starts out with Sir Otto, and he's sitting on the king's throne. And he's holding judgment over some events that happened later in the trailer, I think. I think he's holding judgment over Aegon attacking Jacaerys and Jacaerys attacking Aemond. Like, we see that. And I'm going to talk about those here, when I get to those images. But I took like 27 of these screen grabs. So we got quite a bit of images to get through, but it looks as though the first, this this ship approaching King's Landing is probably the king returning. If you're unaware, the king is missing from the entirety of this episode 8 trailer, and it's because how he looks is a massive spoiler. Like, it's kind of silly in my opinion because HBO already released the end of the season trailer back in between episode 5 and 6, and we saw how Viserys is going to look. So I'm going to share that image right now. Just give me 1 second. I had to pull it up in my paint tab, but yeah, this is what he looks like. Let me do this. I guess it's considered a spoiler. Like I said, I don't know why it would be, but as we can see, his entire face is just fucked. Like, he's doing the realm a favor by not showing them how bad it's gotten. Like, he's probably in bed, like bedridden kind of thing, to the point where he may be like unable to attend the small council meeting or whatever it is where Sir Otto's sitting on the throne. Like, he's not dead yet, right? That's kind of what they're insinuating. But this would likely be one of his last episodes. If I'm not mistaken, Paddy Considine, his CV said that he was going to be on House of the Dragon for 9 episodes. And you know what? I can actually check that right now. So let's do that. I'm not mistaken. So that's just confirmation. Like, yeah, he's going to die. Let's see. House of the Dragon. I remember. Paddy Considine, House of the Dragon. How many episodes are you in, buddy? This is taking too long to figure out. Movies and TV shows. House of the Dragon. Yeah, how many episodes is he in? What the hell, man? He's in 9 episodes. Like, if he's in all 10, it's because it's like his body, right? What I will do is pull this back up. Yeah, so, like, as you can see, let me make that different. Oh, wait. Whoops. All right, so, like, it's not, it's nothing crazy here, but I think the scabies, like, you could actually see on the left side of his face in the last episode when he's talking to Daemon, he's got, like, some varicose veins or something showing up. In my opinion, all of his skin is probably sloughing off. Like, remember how his arm looked? It was disgusting and swollen, right? He's just probably, like, in the Maester's chamber, like in House of the Dragon, or the book version of Fire and Blood, towards the end of his reign, he starts taking his council meetings and like any kind of decision making stuff in his actual solar. He stops mounting the Iron Throne altogether because it's just too painful for him to try to, climb up the stairs. Remember, the Iron Throne in the books is this massive, imposing seat, and they changed it a little bit for House of the Dragon, but it's still nowhere near how it's described in the books. In the books, it's like this thing with like 30 steps that leads up to the seat of it, and it's just a pile of swords. Like it looks crazy, right? So anyway, Viserys stops taking small council meetings, and he stops sitting in the Iron Throne altogether and starts going to a solar. So maybe this episode will lead into that. Like by the end, he's probably going to start taking meetings again, like, for the last time. But he doesn't do it, like I said, in the small council chamber, which is why he's missing from these meetings. Like maybe in the beginning of the episode, he's so out of it and so like unable to move that he's just like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with nothing in the Seven Kingdoms right now. And then eventually the fight that happens between Aegon, Jacaerys, Aemond, and Lucerys, that probably makes him get out of bed and be like, all right, I gotta go do some stuff. You know what I mean? It'll be really interesting to see how he actually does just die. Like he's going to die. When he dies, Alicent gets a 1 week advantage because she doesn't let Rhaenyra know your daddy's dead. So she has 1 week. Her and the Green Council have 1 week to crown Aegon, to kill Lyman Beesbury, to make it so that Alicent wants to crown Aegon in the Dragon Pit with 40,000 people watching, using Aegon the Conqueror's crown, his namesake, and he's holding Blackfire, right? She has like a week to get that all together. And actually, in the books, Viserys' body is rotting that entire time. It's disgusting. It smells terrible. Like everybody in the Red Keep is like, oh, this dude is nasty, right? Like it's pretty intense. So what I was saying about him in episode 8, I want to see, because this is going to be one of his last episodes, how bad he gets and what actually does kill him. Is it going to be the pinch of poison in his Hippocras in the hour of the wolf? Is it going to be, oh, well, he finally just died, right? Which wouldn't make sense because he's got this disease that's allowed him to, like, he may look like shit, he may feel like shit, he may actually be shit, but he still is alive. So whatever this disease is probably isn't going to just kill him, right? So we get the line from Fire and Blood, Alicent may have used a pinch of poison to hurry him along the way. Alicent is acting like in the TV show, Alicent wouldn't do that herself. Larys would be doing that, acting on behalf of Alicent. Maybe she says something like, I hope this king dies. And like, she obviously wouldn't want Larys to do that, but she kind of insinuates it. And then Larys is like going to hold that above her head. Like, if you don't reward me for the Harrenhal thing, this might come out that you poisoned your husband, kind of thing. And like, he doesn't actually, it'll be interesting. This is like my prediction, right? It'll be interesting to see because he probably will be like, on her side, but ultimately he's got like how Varys does in the main show, which is information on people, and information is far more valuable than stealing goods. So if that's the case, Larys will have this information like, look, she told me to poison Viserys. She told me to kill my father and my brother to make Sir Otto his hand. So he's kind of just keeping notes, like what Varys did to Tyrion. Like every meeting that Tyrion and Varys had in the books, Varys writes it all down, and then in Tyrion's trial, he brings it back up, and he just like shoves it in Tyrion's face, but ultimately he does rescue Tyrion on behalf of Jaime. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like he's keeping notes on Alicent. And I feel like that's going to be the case. Like she's going to be like, I just wish he would die so that we could, move things along or something like that. Obviously not verbatim, but then that's when he's like, oh, so you want the Firefly to allow the king to die, right? I don't know. Seeing then the next image, because we've actually only talked about one slide so far. Let me bring that back up, and we got Sir Otto sitting on the throne. This is like this is the moment he's been waiting for. You have the determination to win it. Let me know in the chat if that was a good Sir Otto impression. You must wait. How did it go? You either cleave to Rhaenyra or pray for her mercy. Something like that. I did it, and I put it on my Instagram. So, yes, this is everything that Sir Otto has ever dreamed of, right? He's presiding over the Seven Kingdoms. It looks as though Rhaenyra comes in with, I think, Jace. It's in the next image, but I'm just going to try to guess because it's more fun. With Jace, Baela, Rhaena, and Lucerys, And they are probably showing up because the king is bedridden and sick and can no longer, hold court. And Rainier is like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I'm the next in line. Like, you may be the hand of the king, but you don't rule for my father. Like, she may be showing up to sort of like put the Greens in their place. And when she gets there, she's going to be shocked because she's going to be put in her place, like in her place, kind of. Cause like maybe, Sir Otto obviously is the hand of the king, but maybe Viserys takes like his side and like, no. I let them run the small council because I'm sick and bedridden, and you're over in Dragonstone doing your thing, and it would just be easier to put Sir Otto on the plate. Like I feel like when the king shows up wearing that mask, the image that I was just showing you, the doors swing open, so it's like whoever he's walking in on isn't expecting to see him, and that's probably going to be at the height of like the feudism or the fighting in between Rainier, Alicent, and their sons. The next image is of what I just said. We got the boy Jacaerys, Rhaenyra, and Rhaena, one of the dragon twins. I can't wait to see what their relationship is like with Daemon, because he's like their dad, but also like not the best guy. So yeah, it would be really fun. Emma Darcy looks stunning, and this is like this is the start of the dance. All of these characters that we see in this trailer and in the trailer, the initial trailer that we got for 4K1. So we got the shot of Eric Cargill bending over and handing her the crown. All of these characters that we see from this point forward, no more time jumps. This next episode is the last time jump. It probably starts out from the get-go with these older characters. That dude in the background is Harry Collette. He's playing Jace. Let me know how much you think he looks like Kristen Cole in the chat. I think he looks exactly like Kristen Cole. It's weird that his brother Lucerys has the curly hair, but he has that straight hair. And I think in real life, the actor Harry Collette has curly hair. So it's weird they're making him wear a wig because his hair is the same color. And it's just like straight. It looks like they're trying to sort of insinuate, like, yeah, this is Kristen Cole's son. Rainier didn't take that moon tea. Remember when Maester Milos brought that to her at the end of episode 5? We never see her grab it. We never see her take it. She could have potentially had Jacaerys shortly thereafter that. He is around the age of that time jump. So imagine that. Imagine that. Kristen Cole's bullying his own son in the fighting yard. Let me know. I'm going to look in the chat right now. Let me know, who do y'all think Jacaerys looks like? Do you think he looks like Sir Harwin Strong of the Northmen with the curly hair and the blue eyes and the Jon Snow vibes? Or do you think he looks like Kristen Cole? Dornishman Kristen Cole. I think he does. The son of a steward of Blackhaven, where Kristen Cole comes from. Blackhaven is in the part of Dorne where the salty Dornishmen are, or the sandy Dornishmen. Because Fabian Frankel looks like a sandy Dornishman. I can't even remember. So the Dornishman, there's like the salt, right? So there's multiple different colors of skin of Dornishman. Anyway, Kristen Cole is one of the browner Dornishmen. Jacaerys looks like Kristen Cole, in my opinion. Holy shit, we got 145 people watching. That's what's up. That's what's up. We've only been live streaming for 13 minutes, and I did not announce this anywhere. I tweeted it, I put it on Facebook, I put it on Instagram, but like 3 minutes before we start. So that's really cool. Let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. Let's see. Shout out to Max Goss. What's up, buddy? You were the first one here. Shout out to Sasha Hernandez, the Couch Stallion, Nice Ape, Wex is a secret Targaryen, Jeremy Nipper, Claudia Harras, Daniel Steinkamp, Jonathan Wood, Akeem Jones, Vivian York, Derek Stewart, Black Winter Gaming, Jeremy Nipper, Lindsay Crawford, Divine Sharika, Team Toff, Sir Otto Hightower. Hey, you cunt. No, I'm just kidding. Khadija Farouk, Francis Torres, and I think I got everybody. The boy Damon Targaryen. What's up, buddy? Summer LA, Rajalu 100, Fernand R, Emily Muckler, Tyler McAlpine. All right, I think that got everybody. All right, so yeah. Thank you all for joining me live, and thank you to everybody who's watching this afterwards. Please slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 420. Get it? Get it? 420, Hitler's birthday. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously not why I do that. But I did see someone comment the other day and said, is my logo a fucking Nazi symbol? Like, yes, my logo, me, a black man, my logo is a Nazi symbol. No, it's a red lightning over a black field. Such a stupid question. Who would even think that? Who would even, because of the SS? Because it's an S in a lightning bolt? Like, no, that's stupid. It's in the shape of an S because my channel's name is Sir Hunts. Whatever. I think the person was just trolling me. All right, so yeah, let's get back on track here. Jacaerys, do y'all think Jacaerys looks like Christian Cole? I think he does. I think he's meant to look like Christian Cole intentionally to sort of leave it ambiguous until Rhaenyra is having some sort of breakdown, and then she reveals that she never took that moon tea. Like, maybe she has to have, like, this is not in canon, but she has to have some final conversation with Cole for the TV show. Just some final conversation. And he'll mention something because he's so scorned, and he'll be like, oh, you suck your victims dry. You want to suck and fuck me and leave me alone. What the fuck? I don't know why. I don't know why. Whatever. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just wanted to curse like that. Oh, because YouTube is like demonetizing my videos for saying too many curse words. Like I got a video get the golden demonetization things, which means it will play some ads but not all ads, and it was because they told me I put fuck in the title or cunt in the video, and those are extreme words. That's insane. Please join my Patreon for unedited, unfiltered Sir Hunts in his colorful language. It's kind of bull crap because we're watching a show where people get their dick cut off and then it'll get placed in front of them. And then sometimes it gets shoved down their throat and their jaw gets broken. Well, that happens in the books, but that's a thing. And like, it's crazy that I can't say fuck, shit, cunt, damn, bitch, any of that stuff. Like, this video is already demonetized. I'm pretty sure there's no ads playing in front, so I don't really care at this point. You know what I mean? Just join my Patreon, please. Join it for as little as $1. So I'll continue to upload here on YouTube. I'll keep doing exactly what I'm doing, but if you join my Patreon, you'll get the unedited version of stuff. And also, most of the content I upload there will never be uploaded to YouTube. So anyway, let's continue with the breakdown. The next image that we want to discuss for this trailer. Sir Otto Hightower, look at you, little cunt, you little jerk, sitting on the Iron Throne. Like I said, this is everything he dreamed for. I don't need to spend any time on this image because we've been talking about him for a while. That's my Sir Otto impression. Oh, this is my new banner on Twitter. Look at these smug mother. I love them. I love every single one of them. Helena, the weirdo. Alicent, the dark goth mom. Like at least the look that she has, right? They all look so much like her. Props to casting. Like, every single one of them look like her. I will say Sir Otto should be fully gray. He should be fully gray. He should have no hair. He should look worse than the king because he's older than all of them. But all that aside, Alicent, perfect casting. Emily Carey looks exactly like a younger version of Olivia Cook. All of these actors, every single one of them, Tom Glenn Carney, Ewan Mitchell, Fia Saban, they all look like offspring of Olivia Cook. And they're close in age to her. And she's going to be aged up with makeup. Such a good job. If I had $100, I would write it to the casting director and say, hey, this isn't shit, but I just want you to know you did an amazing job. People like Joe Rogan and other idiots who are like, why'd they switch the actors? I don't understand. This is why. These main characters are fucking almost 30 years old, at least in real life, so they can't have a teenage mom. That's not believable. This is the story that we've all been waiting. I've been waiting for 2 years for these characters to be on screen because I want to see the dance. I want to see the people who are going to be fully on portraying these characters for the rest of the series. I want to see them on screen. It's been 8 episodes that we've been waiting for this. So this is amazing. So good. Like, Tom Glenn Carney's Aegon is the shit. He's the fucking man, right? We saw Aegon already portrayed by Ty Tennant, and that version of Aegon is the shit. But this version of Aegon right here is the one that we have all the shit happen to. He's the one that likes watching people fuck. He's the one that, has his armor. Oh my God, this is, I guess, a spoiler, but I've been talking about spoilers. whatever. When he gets injured by Rhaenys in the battle that basically Rhaenys is called into battle to go and aid some members of the Blacks. And when she gets there, it's kind of like an ambush, right? So Aegon is there with Sunfire and Aemond is there with Vhagar, right? She cripples Aegon. Her dragon, Rhaenys' dragon, Meleys, destroys Sunfire to the point where Sunfire has to be healed, like can't fly, is crawling on the ground, eating corpses after this battle. And also, you got to realize Sunfire has fucking Vhagar on his side. So that's how badass Meleys and Rhaenys is. So anyway, when Meleys shows up, she sees Aegon and Aemond on Vhagar and Sunfire, or the opposite, right? And she literally knows she's gonna die. She willingly accepts that, lets out a glad cry, a crack of the whip, and flies in battle. But anyway, after the battle, Aegon has his armor so melted and he's so fucked up. He's like, he sleeps 9 out of every 10 hours, right? And he is in bed for a year. And during that time, Aemond wears the Conqueror's crown. He does everything but actually name himself king, right? So Aemond very much takes over for the Greens alongside Kristen Cole. But after that initial battle with Rhaenys, Aegon's armor is fused to his fucking body. Nuts. Like, it melts into his flesh. This is going to be so awesome to watch. And if you're like, dude, why do you want to see that? That sounds sick and disgusting. Because this is what I read in Fire and Blood. And when I was reading this in Fire and Blood, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see how they do this on screen, because they're probably going to take it to a whole nother level. Meaning that, like, we hear and we read in Fire and Blood, hey, here, obviously, if you listen to audiobooks like myself, I also read when I have the time, but mostly audiobooks, right? So we hear, oh, hey, he's got metal fused into his arm and he's taken out for a year and he sleeps a lot and it takes him a while to heal. And when he comes back, he never really fully comes back and he's even more psycho than he was before that. But the TV show is probably going to make the armor fuse to his dick. Like, that's the levels that the TV show will take. Like, his dick will completely no longer work, but he still wants to just watch, right? So it's like, man, I don't know. How all in the chat right now? Everybody watching right now. We got 174 people. Please slap a like on this video. Like goes going to be 420. Make sure you subscribe. We're really close to reaching 100,000 here on YouTube. But you all, let me know in the chat. How do you think his dick is going to look after? Right, because he's a window jacker. He keeps talking about how he loves long legs and he gets hammered. And honestly, he's like literally next to Aemond. Before Aemond has that scene where he claimed Vhagar, Aegon 2 is my favorite character. He's just the man. Titanic, he's fucking hilarious. He's like, everything is so perfect. He's like, everybody beats him up. Alicent's like beating him. Did y'all see Sir Otto look to the left, look to the right, and then kick the shit out of him in the last episode? Like, dude, they're turning him into the jerk that he is in the feels like he just wants to chill. It's such a I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't got a lot going on in my own, House of the Dragon is the only thing I really, as far as entertainment, give a shit about. So, like, maybe that's why I get so obsessed with the show, but it's really cool. It's really cool to see. To see these characters finally, like man, we've been, it's been 8 weeks, but before that, it's been 2 years. Like, these were the first actors announced. The younger actors weren't announced until like the show's about to come out. Like, they were, like, you could find out who they were, but like Tom Glenn Carney, Ewan Mitchell, they were the ones who were listed. Fiesabon, they were the ones who were listed on the HBO page for these characters. So you look at their other work and you're like, holy shit, Tom Glenn Carney, he did a couple war movies. He played a king with the actor who played Tommen. Tommen was the king, but Tom Glenn Carney was in that movie. I think it was called The King or something. He's really good in that. Like, this is awesome. This is really awesome. All right, so the next image from the trailer that we need to discuss is tricked you. You thought we were going to stop talking about Aegon. Now look at this motherfucker. He's badass. Here's a question for you. Do you think the older version of the actor, Tom Glenn Carney, do you think he looks as much like well, okay, obviously he looks like Tyrant, but everybody kept saying Tyrant is Paul Atreides, right? Timothy Chalamet. Do you think Tom Glenn Carney looks like Timothy Chalamet? I think that was just the younger. I think Tyrant looked more like him. All right, so the next image. I mean, I guess we could talk about this a little bit. Aemond in the background, he's like smirking, so he's finally like. Remember how? Here's the thing: they're going to be not the best of friends. at least from what we could see, because Aegon very much bullied Aemond, and there's sort of a love affair between between Helena and Aemond. So that's gonna make them jealous, and I wouldn't like in the books. It's like no one has in Fire and Blood, no one has a POV, so it's hard to really tell how Aemond and Aegon's actual relationship is. But from what we hear from the Maesters in Mushroom, they kind of got along, but it's more like a slight rivalry, but nowhere near like the anonymity between Alicent's children and Rhaenyra's children. So the dynamic between the two of them this next episode will sort of be probably forced closeness, which they may not like each other, and Aemond and Helena may have like a relationship going on. But it'll just be really interesting to see, because like I said, ultimately, when Aegon is taken out and he has the armor fused to his dick hole, Aemond takes the crown, but still never calls himself king, because Aegon is still alive and healing. So he does respect him enough to not like usurp his throne from him. So it's and Aegon's children are taken out. So Aemond is very much the Prince of Dragonstone for the Greens. Like Aegon does have younger children, but it's a war. He sends them off. As a matter of fact, Jaehaerys is killed in Blood and Cheese. Jaehaera ends up marrying Aegon the Third, but she's a Lackwit. And then Maelor, his youngest son, this is terrible. He sends Maelor away with a Kingsguard member, and the Kingsguard member is sort of trying to escape from the war, and he ends up making it to this inn with Maelor. And he has a dragon egg in his stuff, right? But that's besides the point. So he gets to this inn. He tries to get a room for the night to, get some shelter, get some food in their belly, and continue on their journey. And instead, while they're getting something to drink, the innkeeper's helper goes out to the stable, which is the only place, because the inn is packed because it's war. And the king's guardman is in disguise. He doesn't want anybody to know that he has Aegon's heir, the Prince of Dragonstone, right? So he's trying to be low key, like not really make that much of a scene. And he ends up convincing the innkeeper to let them stay in his stable if they clear the stable out. So they go in, get some drinks, get some food, and the stable keeper, or the innkeeper's helper in the stable, discovers a dragon egg in their bag and then brings it to the innkeeper. A fight breaks out. The Kingsguard member dies, and then Maelor, I keep calling him Maegor because he's sort of named after Maegor. They just changed the G to the L. But anyway, Maelor is then ripped apart. There's this fat bitch named Patty Poundstone, and she's like simple-minded, and she just keeps gripping Maelor tighter and tighter, and then someone else pulls his arm, and another person pulls his leg, and then this is one version of the story, but basically he just gets pulled apart. And then another version is Paula Poundstone. I think that's her name. It's definitely Poundstone. She got her name from beating clothes in the river. She was simple-minded, much like the Lannister cousin who squashed the Beatles, right? So this is sort of who this bitch is. But anyway, one of the stories is she squeezes him to death. One of the stories is Maelor's ripped apart. Another story is that he just dies, right? So that's going to be pretty crazy. And that's his last kid. That's what happens to his last kid, except for Jaehaera, who's also simple-minded, and she ends up marrying Aegon the Third, Rhaenyra and Daemon's child, and then she kills herself. She throws herself off of Maegor's Holdfast and dies on the spikes below. There's so many characters that die on the spikes of Maegor's Holdfast. Kind of interesting. All right, next image. Alicent is looking awesome. Who all saw her butt in the real actor's butt? Olivia Cook's butt in the what was it? Some kind of a Rihanna Fendi thing, like modeling thing. I did. I saw her butt. It is nice. Awesome. Yeah, it made me more Team Green. Is that bad? I mean, not really. She's got a nice ass. All right. So this doesn't really need breaking down, except for if you look in the back. If you look in the back, that's Eric Cargill. His twin is the one who brings Rhaenyra her crown. He's the one who tells Rhaenyra, hey, your daddy's dead. Hey, that green bitch stole your throne. If you'll notice, Alicent is sitting in the king's chair at the small council table. At least it looks like it. At least she may actually be sitting in Corlys's chair, because Corlys, takes a wound, and the question of succession of who's going to take over Driftmark is brought up. When we see Velaryon tries to stake his claim to Rhaenys, and she probably sets him up like, yeah, just go talk to the king in King's Landing. And then they do that. And then, in the books, Syrax eats Vaemon's carcass after Daemon is dispatched by Rhaenyra to cut off Vaemon's head. So that's going to be happening in the next episode too. But this is probably Rhaenyra and Alicent at the small council meeting. Like, obviously, Sir Otto can't deny her having a seat at the small council meeting, but what he can do is say, like, oh, your kids don't need to be involved. Just kind of hold her up, like, hold up, what are you doing? Kind of stopping her as soon as she arrives, kind of thing. Then the next image we have is Daemon and Rhaenyra, and she's telling him in the trailer, like, They're snakes on my dad's chair. They're trying to be jerks over there. So we need to go do something about it. And Daemon, like, there's another. I think I grabbed the screen image of it, but he confirms, and that's them arriving in King's Landing in this image. So this is, they're kind of jumping around a bit, making us think that certain scenes follow other scenes, but that's not the case. Yes, and the next image is Daemon. Hey, look at that. Next image is Daemon saying, yeah, I'll go with you, babe. But he's not in this scene right here, at least from what we could see, which actually, you know what? He probably is, because Baela's also missing, and so is Lucerys. So Daemon's probably just off to the left or to the right. And since there is the time jump, I wouldn't be surprised if we finally get to see little baby Aegon the Third. He's the winner. He wins the Game of Thrones at the end of this. He sits the throne. And, he's known as Dragon's Bane because he watches his mom eaten by a dragon. And, like, he's deathly afraid of the Dragon Twins' dragon when they come and visit him after the war's over, because they kind of hide out in the Vale for the most part of the story. You guys think Daemon is present in this scene? I mean, these scenes right here, obviously after that. But then the next image that I want to discuss, and this one's kind of interesting. This one's Corlys. I have to zoom way in for you, but that's Corlys right there, and that's Rhaenys right there. This is not the King's Chambers. Like, okay, maybe, but I'm pretty sure that's Rhaenys. Like, I didn't grab every single screenshot from this 2 seconds that this scene is on screen, but what I did do was make up my mind that this was Corlys and Rhaenys before I started this live stream, so I kind of got to stick with it. Chat, is this Corlys and Rhaenys? It is. That looks like Driftmark. Also, it's just mentioned right before that Corlys is received an injury in the Stepstone. So maybe he goes off to war after his son dies and goes and does the same thing he did, which is make Adam of Hull. Maybe this is when he makes the bastards, is during this time jump. And we get Adam of Hull and Alon Oakenfist after this lady right here, Rhaenys, dies. All right, then the next image. This is now this maester looks like the Indian fellow at Driftmark who was treating Rhaenyra for her cut after Alicent cut it. And he goes, Valyrian steel cuts sharp. So this guy's probably treating Corlys. So these scenes are, linked. His hand looks like that guy. That's why I'm saying that. But obviously, this could be a Maester Gerardus. This could be okay. So in the books, after the king has the tongues removed of the Silent Five, which the Silent Five are the Velaryon cousins, who people confuse, myself included, because I didn't realize they made Vaemon Velaryon not a cousin, but instead a younger brother of Corlys, or rather, he's a nephew in the books. But Vaemon, like I said, gets his head cut off at the Caraxes. But the Silent Five are also, they kind of do the same thing. They make a claim for Driftmark. And when they do that, the king said he hears them out in a stony silence and then says, all right, cut their tongues out. I'm fucking done. I told you, motherfuckers. No one is allowed to say Rhaenyra's. No one's allowed to say the obvious. I want to ignore it and pretend that those are her actual children and that two people with silver, gold, white hair would make 3 babies with black hair, because that's just how genetics work. That's just how it goes, and then they get their tongues cut off. They know they're known as the Silent Five after that. Then we get this image of Rhaenys. Looks like there's a bunch of candles behind her. Is that what the hell it is? Or she's a man in a box. Bow, bow. No, this is probably related to this scene. Like he's coming in to treat Corliss. But when Corliss is injured in the books, that's where that question of succession comes up. So he's fine. He survives most of the events of the dance. He dies towards the very end. On his own accord, like he just dies of old age. Like he's almost executed and beheaded by Cregan Stark, but he's saved by Aegon III. So he ends up dying from a heart attack. And they put him on his ship, the Sea Snake. They push him out to the sea. And Cannibal, who may be the biggest dragon, you got to realize Cannibal, according to the small folk of Westeros, had been over there since before the Targaryens came to Dragonstone. So that would make him as big as Velaryon the Black Dread, if those rumors are true, right? Cannibal supposedly flies over a ship to salute him one last time. But Rhaenys, I think, is treating with Vaemond, because we see later on in the trailer, Vaemond comes up and says, like, who's the heir to Driftmark? That's not her. Those kids ain't got no Velaryon blood. And she's like, okay. Probably says, go take it up with the king, kind of thing. Because she wanted to name the Dragon Twins, who are for sure blood of Velaryon. But that didn't happen. Not the case. Corliss was like, nah, bro. And speaking of the devil, Vaemond, right here, it looks like he's actually sweating. Do y'all see that? Looks like he's sweating. So this may be when the king is like, all right, cut his tongue out. And he's like, you wouldn't do that to me. I am a scion of House Velaryon. I am Corliss's younger brother. You can't take my tongue. Sort of not realizing what's about to happen to him. I'm an idiot. He doesn't get his tongue taken out. He gets his head chopped off and then fed. I keep confusing with the Silent Five, and I keep saying it right before I say who they are. I say, oh, everybody confused. No, it's just me. I'm the only one. He's not part of the Silent Five, God damn it. He doesn't get his tongue taken out, and he's probably sweating because maybe Daemon just said, yo, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, I'd like to see you try, kind of thing. I don't know. He's definitely gonna be dying the next episode, though. Then we get this amazing scene of why I say Aemond, who's being trained by Kristen, who technically is like the best fighter in the land. That's why I say Aemond would probably beat the snot out of Daemon in a one-on-one. We saw Kristen Cole beat the shit out of Daemon in a melee sesh and the tourney in the first episode. So it would only make sense if someone who's been training him his entire life. So technically Kristen Cole is good, but Aemond should be better, right? Because he has Kristen Cole as a teacher and he's like, been training his entire life, right? In the yard, we saw in the last several episodes, this is all they do all day is just fight, right? So this is going to be, like I said, if Daemon and Aemond were to get into a fight, no dragons, Aemond would probably beat the shit out of Daemon. Like, I love Daemon. You saw what Daemon did in the Stepstone, right? I love Aemond. You saw what Aemond did at Driftmark, right? But in a one-on-one fight, Kristen Cole already handed him his chain and was like, here you go, man. Get out of here. Excuse me, Crispin. But yeah, and then, the next shot we see is of that motherfucking Morningstar smashing a piece of the shield. And this is why Aemond's so good. It's because he doesn't have no holds bar. Like Kristen doesn't treat him like he's a prince of the blood. He treats him like he's just someone in the training yard that he would scrap with. So there has to be some fights with Aemond off of his dragon back. Like, we're probably going to see him killing a bunch of dudes at Harrenhal and in the Riverlands, right? We're probably going to see him square up with Jace the next episode. It looks like Jace punches him in the face, and Aemond's like, probably not going to just take that. He's probably not just going to eat it and be like, ha. You know what I mean? Aemond's probably gonna lay him out flat. We saw Aemond so badass. He beat up not one girl, but two girls. Aemond beat up two little girls, bro. In the dark, he beat them. You can't, that's hard to do. Little girls are strong as shit. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. No, but Aemond beat up like 4 kids that were trying to jump him. He beat the crap out of all of them. And like, yeah, you could argue like, yeah, he's being aggressive, but yeah, like he got it. They drew a knife on him. And he was just trying to walk back like, yeah, you stole their mom's dragon. But like in the stolen sense, it's like he was right. You should have done it right away. Like, oh, you're trying to mourn your mom. Oh, you're trying to be a good little girl and be sentimental and all that shit. No, you should have claimed that dragon. I'm just kidding. But yeah, like depending on whose perspective you're looking at it, I hear my cats wrestling down there. My kids is over at my grandma's house. At their grandma's house. These goddamn cats making all that damn noise. All right, so then the next image, Rhaenys, and this is when she's meeting with Vaemond Velaryon. She's sitting on the Driftwood throne. The Driftwood throne was given to, and I've said this before, I believe, is given to House Velaryon from the Merlin King. The Merlin King is also, he's worshipped by the Andals, but there's several gods with several different names in A Song of Ice and Fire that are pretty much the same. So the Merlin King is actually also worshipped by Waymond Manderly, and House Manderly is a sort of like a foster house to the north. So a couple hundred years before the events of the main story, House Manderly was uprooted from the south and banished, and then they were given White Harbor in the north. So they worship the Merlin King, who's not a northern god. So the Andals is not an Andal faith neither, because the Andal are the faith of the seven. So one god with seven different faces: the maiden, the mother, the warrior, right? Death, right? Those are all the same god, but just different aspects. And there's no Merlin King in that. So there's like, aside from the faith of the seven, which is the Andal faith, there's also people who worship elemental gods. So technically, the Valyrians never worshipped gods. They thought themselves gods on earth, but there is a religion that was prominent in Valyria. It's just not one singular overarching religion. It's several different religions that they allowed their slaves to practice, because, they feared that if it was one dominant religion, like Loera or whoever, right, as a fire god, as an elemental god, like I was just saying, some people worship those elemental deities. If they had did that, the Valyrians probably would have had a big uprising, because religion is one of those things that can unite a bunch of people under the same faith, regardless of what they look like. If they're all like, well, Loera said we have to destroy you, then they probably would have been destroyed. Like, there's just too many people. They probably would have died crazily. But I think the most we hear of dragons, the most amount of dragon lords ever that we hear about, is when they go out to attack this Roynish prince, who is able to amass an army of 250,000. And the Valyrian Freehold sends out 300 dragon riders to go and destroy those Roynar. They're like, Garrus is his name, I think, Prince Garen. There's this dude, Garrus Drinkwater, who's like a companion of Quentin in Quentin Martell in the books. But yeah, Prince Garrett he got so many people. And Princess Nymeria is like, no, you can't fight those people. Don't do it. It's death, right? So this dude is a prince of Croyne, and on the Roynar. It's the city on the Roynar. And like I said, he amassed like 250,000 people, and they just get wiped out. Like, immediately just get destroyed by the 300 dragon lords. Wiped out. You don't even they're dead. And then Nymeria takes, 10,000 ships. The 10,000 ships are like fishing vessels and cogs, and like not warships, but she takes them to Dorne, and they amalgamate into Dorne. She marries a prince of House Martell, and then she later marries a Darkstar. I'm sorry, not a Darkstar, a Dane. Darkstar is the emo Dane, Sword of the Morning. She marries a Sword of the Morning, but ultimately her kids with Martell, princes and princesses, go on to rule Dorne. But anyway, this image right here is right when Rhaenys meets Vaemond, and he's like proposing her in the trailer. He's like, who's going to get the throne of Driftwood, right? The next image, this is the king arriving, right? They made it look like it's going to be Vaemond Velaryon. But oh no, yeah, it is Vaemond Velaryon. Well, son of a bitch. But the king does arrive in a very similar moment to that. Here, let me do this. Wait. There we go. Yeah, y'all remember that? Whoa, stop zooming in. There we go. So yes, the king is gonna have the doors whip open, and he shows up like this. All right, now to continue on, let's get through some more of these because we're already over an hour, or almost at an hour, rather. All right, and the next image. This is finally, fucking finally. I thought he was gonna have to steal eggs for his dragon twins, but no, he's probably gonna have to go and claim an egg, just regular old claiming. This is how they claim eggs, and he's gonna claim an egg for, Aegon the Two or Viserys. He has children with Rhaenyra, Aegon the Third, rather, and Viserys. And he's probably stealing the dragon egg for, I would say Viserys, because Aegon the Third is probably already born at this point. So maybe he's probably already a toddler, rather. So maybe he's stealing this egg for Viserys. And if you want to know something ominous, this egg never hatches. This egg that he's stealing never opens up. So the Greens take that as sort of like a slide, because, or like as a win for them, because it's an ominous sign, like that Viserys is never going to ride dragon kind of thing. And then also, Aegon the Third, when he's born and they name him Aegon the Third, the Greens take offense because they already have an Aegon the Two, and then from that point forward, Aegon Two is known as Aegon Older, and then Aegon the Younger for the Third. So Daemon's stealing an egg in this image. And the next one, Jacaerys slams his fist down, and he's being taunted by Aegon, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm the Prince of Dragonstone. You might look like the Prince of Dragonstone. You might have a stronger claim than me, but as of right now, I'm the Prince of Dragonstone." So it's going to be really, really cool to watch. These Jacaerys boys, these strong boys are, aside from Jacaerys, probably offspring of Chris and Cole, but his brother, Lucerys, and Joffrey they're strong lads. They should be like the strongest lads in the kingdom, right? And this is probably exactly what Aegon says is, "Oh, you're such a strong boy, aren't you?" And then he just slams his fist down and stands up. And then the next image, this is really cool. This is an image of Mysari. We haven't seen her in several episodes. Hopefully they worked out her accent and she will not sound like Captain Planet. "Hello, Daemon. How are you doing?" That's just kidding. But yeah, so this is Daemon going, look, he's wearing his bad evil hoodie. Like Daemon has a hoodie that he wears for when he does bad deeds. And he's going to go meet with Mysaria. Look at that. That's cool. This is setting up, in my opinion, blood and cheese. Like, it's probably not. I mean, it's possible that it could be not Daemon, but it probably is. It would just make sense. She's obviously adamant in King's Landing. She ends up becoming Rhaenyra's Master of Whisperers, and in the TV show, they made her sort of inform on Daemon to Sir Otto. So maybe Daemon is trying to win her back into his favor because he knows that she will be needed when Rhaenyra takes the throne. And then we get a shot of Rhaenyra. This first season, she actually gives birth to technically 3 more kids, but I don't know if they're going to show all of them. So Aegon the Third, Viserys, and then ultimately her daughter, who she would have named Visenya, dies. And the reason why the baby dies is because right after she finds out that her dad dies, she goes into labor. But she doesn't. She's like in a lot of pain, right? It's the labor is not supposed to happen when it does. Ultimately, the baby is born like a half dragon baby, like how supposedly Rhaego, Daenerys' baby, was born, like had like serpent scales all over it and looks like half dragon, half human. Supposedly Mushroom is the one who takes it out to the yard and burns it, right? But while she's giving birth, she actually curses her child. She says, "Get out, get out, get out, get out of my body." And she like says, to die. She tells her daughter to die, and then her daughter actually does die. So it's kind of like, Rhaenyra, you crazy bitch. Maybe if you hadn't said that, you wouldn't have killed your daughter, right? Next image we have is oh look, how did this get in there? The boy Aemond, what's up, buddy? Gonna go looking for some MILF tits. Alice Rivers, it's hot as fuck. So I would, can't blame you, buddy. This is right after him fighting with Kristen Cole, and Kristen Cole smashes his shield with the Morning Star. Then the next image, Jacaerys punches Aemond in the face. It looks as though Aemond is far enough away to just sort of back up out of it. There were people that were afraid that Aemond looks older than Aegon II just because he's taller than Tom Glencarny. It doesn't matter. They all look like how they're supposed to. They look better than how they're supposed to. Let's quit nitpicking. If you want to be mad about something, be mad about the fact that we still have not seen Mushroom's giant dick. We haven't even seen Mushroom. So, but yeah, Jacaerys has obviously had enough of the strong threats. And then we see over there in the background right there, Lucerys and Aegon are probably going to square up too. But Jacaerys is like technically older than Aemond. So this should be an interesting fight. The two of them. Like I said, Aemond is the badass fighter in the land, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just moves out of the way, like just dodges it, but with such little effort that Jacaerys tries to attack him again. A lot of the times in the fight, the person who's more pissed off has less of an advantage because they're not thinking as rationally. Aemond seems like he has a cool head. That's how he was able to claim Vhagar, right? So like Aegon's telling him, our sister's an idiot. I don't want to do nothing. And he's like, why don't you marry her? And Aemond, with his calm, cool, and collected nature, says, oh, I would do my duty because, like, it would strengthen our family. And, like, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what someone with a cool, calm, collective head does. So he becomes like that because he's the second son, because he doesn't have all the pressure on him that Aegon does. That's what turns Aegon into who he is. Aemond sort of gets less of that and is allowed to become more like who Sir Otto wants Aegon to be, right? So that's really cool. It'd be dope if he just kind of goes, like, doesn't even react, just kind of moves out of the way, and Jacaerys like punches the air. That'd be really funny. Then, oh yeah, look, Lucerys and Aegon fighting each other. So this is looks like, in the actual trailer, looks like Aegon walks past Lucerys and slams his head down into the table. So there's definitely going to be a big fight. And then we have Aemond Velaryon showing up to make his claim. Now I tried to look to see if we could see some potential members of the Silent Five, and the only one who's wearing a doublet with a Velaryon sigil on it, and these are House Hightower guards, obviously, the Green Flames of War. But it looks like there's not any members of the Silent Five. Potentially this guy, but they're supposed to be Velaryon cousins, so I'm pretty sure they're all going to be black and look like Vaemond and Corlys. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting scene. This is who Jacaerys and Lucerys look back at when they arrive through the gates. Remember this image right here? Wait, did I? No, wow. Right here. When the, like, right before this scene in the trailer, there is a scene where Jacaerys looks over, and it's right when these doors swing open. And like I just said, that's Vaemond Velaryon. You can see from his dreads right there. And then right here. All right. And that's it. That's the last image. So what we can do is jump in the chat. Let's do this because I got about 7 more minutes on this. All right. This is from Ben Black, and they said, was it ever alluded to in the books that Helena's kids are Aemond's? People saying show could go there. It's possible. Aegon is definitely going to Helena just to see what it's like. The question is does he continue to do it? There's no alluding to Aemond being in love with Helena or anything of this sort in the books. That's just not, it's not even a thing. It does say Helena, like I said, when Aegon II is being looked for to try to find to give the crown of Aegon the Conqueror to usurp Rhaenyra's throne, Helena does say, well, Aegon's not the most faithful person, basically, in a roundabout way of saying it, but there's no, because Aemond gets with Alice Rivers, and that's his number one. Like, she has his baby. If the rumors are to be believed, she's pregnant with his baby when he shows up to fight Daemon at the Battle Above the God's Eye. So there's no precedent of Helena and Aemond. I think they're just adding that for the show, and I actually like it. It adds more layers of complexity to the green, so I actually do like it. If Mom wanted me to fuck her, I would. Yeah. Username from Riv says, I think that Fire Blood Magic, the old Valyrians were doing was to create a humanoid dragon hybrid. Yes, they combined Well, according to one version, they combined wyverns and fireworms and made their version of dragons. And this is how they're the only ones who can control those dragons. You have to have the blood of the dragon. And, it's just sort of, we don't actually know because George has not released a book where he's like, hey, this is what the Valyrian fire mages did. This is how they tamed and controlled the dragons. It's all just alluded to, and you kind of have to piece the context clues together for yourself. This is from Black Winter Gaming. He says, or he or she, or they says, what do you think of the new actor for Aegon? I think he looks way younger than Aemond. Well, I actually addressed that. I actually just addressed that. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter who looks younger or older than 2. It's all 1 or 2 years apart. The big thing is that they didn't have Ty Tennant, Leo Aston, and those ages, that character, fighting in the dance, because that goes against canon. Aegon 2 is 21 when the story starts, so it's perfect. Tom Glencairn looks like that. Aemond looks like he's related to Olivia Cook, related to Fiazabon, related to Viserys, related to Rhaenyra, and most importantly, related to Tom Glencairn. So casting is perfect. I don't even want to. I don't gotta say shit. I don't want to hear it. God damn it. I'm just kidding. Let's see. We got one from. Have you not been listening? Because they're fucking awesome. What are you talking about? I could pick whoever I want, and it doesn't say anything about me because these are make-believe characters. But what it will say is if you want to stick to one side the whole time, it says that you, not you intentionally. And thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving this comment. But not fuck them. Not fuck them. Fuck everybody in this story because they're all wrong. If you can't tell, they picked on Aemond. They caused Aemond to act like this. They attacked Aemond. They made him lash out, right? And then when Aemond does what he's going to do in this episode, they're going to lash out against him. So, yes, I love the greens. Yes, I'm greens and I'm blacks. Obviously, I've read the story so many times. There's no way that I would be sane, right, if I picked one team. They're all wrong. What I get to do is play favorites because that's what we get to do as fans. It's not a real story, right? But yeah, go back and listen to everything. Watch my other videos. Listen to how hardcore I was blacks. I just like being this way because it's fun. You should never make up your mind 100% about something. You should always give room for, being a more nuanced individual. Let's see. We got one from the Bio Explorer. What's up, girl? She says they, in the book, pretty sure said they allowed all kinds of religions in Valyria, but that was some. Yes, that's what I said. They didn't. The Valyrians themselves didn't believe in any gods. They didn't have, like. Okay, so they named their dragons after gods, but it's like, of what religion? Of their religion? No, it's probably just a religion in the Freehold that was popular. There was thousands of religions because they took slaves from everywhere. So what was this? Were you talking to somebody else? But no, there's no. Not in Fire and Blood. It's literally mentioned like the Valyrians themselves didn't have a religion that they believed in. They considered themselves God. There was like George could reveal the religion name that they named their dragons after and they take names from, right? Like, Drogon, Viserion, Rhaegal, Caraxes, right? Syrax. Those are all named after old gods of Valyria, but like there's no religion that the Targaryens in the dragon riding families had. It wasn't a secret or anything like that. They believed themselves were the gods, right? They believed in fire magic. They believed in sorcery and all that stuff, but there was no, they believed in fire itself, if you want to call that a religion, which is not, it's not something they didn't have to stop what they're doing and make a prayer. They didn't have to go everywhere else. They didn't have to go somewhere every Sunday, right? So there was no religion in that sense. They were unreligious, which is why they were probably so successful in doing what they did. Is they didn't think they would ever have to answer to anyone, so they were ruthless in that sense. And since they thought of themselves so highly, I don't think there was. No, I know for a fact there is no secret religion. But thank you for watching BioExplore. Thank you for being a patron and always supporting me. This is from Cameron Thurman, and they said Team Green all day. Fuck yeah, you get it, you get it. Team Black also, fuck yeah, you get it, you get it. Team Aemond. Yes, there we go. Team particular character, because that's better. Because obviously one character doesn't represent the entirety of the Greens or the entirety of the Blacks. This is from Wild Iris, and they said, wow, curious they aren't going to stretch it into that many seasons when it's already flying. Oh, I need to stop picking random comments that people are having in conversations with themselves, because I'm always like I don't have enough context to answer it. But yeah, the show is supposed to be around 4 seasons, and you can't really stretch it than that because you'll add in too much stuff and it'll get bad. It needs to this first season could have spent more times telling certain things, but ultimately it's going to end up perfectly where it needs to be. The Dance of the Dragons takes place from the end of 129 AC to 130 AC, and that's it. All of the dragons are dead for the most part. All of the people who played in the dance are dead. There's a new king. Cregan Stark makes it down south, and that's the end of the war. That's it. For this show in its iteration, like not all of House of the Dragon, but for this version of the show, 4 seasons max. And then obviously there's a chance to come back and visit them through movies or maybe smaller miniseries like the Corliss, the Seaside spinoff or something like that. But there's not enough material. Like once the war starts, Daemon is in Harrenhal the entire time until he dies at the God's Eye. For the most part, like he goes back with Rainier to take King's Landing, but then he goes back to Harrenhal, and he's in the Riverlands, holding out at Harrenhal until he leaves and goes and fights Aemond. And then Rainier literally stays on Dragonstone, watches her kids die, takes King's Landing, sells her crown to fly back to Dragonstone, and then dies there. Right? Alicent survives the entirety of the war, goes insane. Corliss survives the entirety of the war, dies on the steps, the Serpentine Steps of a heart attack. Helena jumps out of the window for being crazy. Aegon poisoned by Larrys. Aemond killed at the Battle above the God's Eye. Daemon killed at the Battle above the God's Eye. May have potentially survived it, but his story no longer affects anything that would be relevant to this iteration of the story, right? That's the ending for all the main characters. You can't stretch that any further. Anybody who wants it to go further than that, read Fire and Blood, and then you understand why it can't go further than that. Like, yeah, of course, we want to see these characters, these actors on screen, but there's not enough source material. And I don't trust anyone other than George to make up that much source material to give them, like, say, an extra season or something. Because, like, you really got to realize the information they burned through in this first season is, like, that would have maybe been enough to stretch it out. Like, if they hadn't ended with the dance starting in season 1, then they could have used that material to stretch out further. But no, they realized we don't know if this show is going to be a hit. We want to get a season 2. Let's make this storyline, like, they're going to be able to stretch it out to 10 episode seasons, but 40 episodes is a wrap for the dance. Because like I said, it takes place over 2 years and it's mostly build up to it. So that way, when everybody starts dying, yeah. Oh shit, missed a super chat from the North Must Remember. He says, thank you for that super chat. He says, DM'd you on Patreon a working theory I had about Dawn and John's birth and eventual death. I will, but not during the live stream. Thank you for that super chat. I'll definitely check that out after we get done here. Oh shit, we got another one from Fatal Tone. Appreciate that. He says, I wish Viserys would grow a pair and do something. I know, right? I think we all would, but that's not his character. He literally just wants to try to keep the kingdom at minimum as good as it was when Jaehaerys gave it to him. So he knows he's not as good as a king as Jaehaerys. He knows he's not as good as a warrior as Daemon, but his job is just to keep stuff going. Keep it as simple as possible. Don't try to add in too much stuff because you probably will mishandle it, mismanage the kingdom. He wants to try to just keep it going smooth. Like, keep the world from falling apart around him as he rules, kind of. And that's the reason why he doesn't want to do something. Like, to be honest, he does have a pair. He does tell Alicent, you're not going to do shit. And like, he doesn't necessarily see her reacting that way, and he's not in well enough health to stop her from acting that way. But ultimately, it would be too much for him to do that. And I think, like, he does grow a pair in the sense when he has the Silent Five's tongues ripped out. He does have balls in the sense that he still kept Rainier his heir after all of these years, after the threat of war so many times. He takes balls. It takes a lot of balls to be able to be like, hey, you know what? It's cool. It's fine. My daughter's the heir. You know, that takes a lot of balls. Huh? What is this? Is this person being mean? Mods in the chat. If there's anybody modding right now in the chat for me. If not, if they are, I'll block them. Why are you telling people to shut their damn mouth? What did they do? Let's see. This is from Upa Hinjala. Really hope they add Rhaenyra a weight gain to the show. I just want her to be a fat. Okay, yeah. It's not going to happen. Why is Alicent being so nice? I would demand it an eye for all 4 of those who jumped Aemond. I don't think she's being nice. I think, and this will make me not sound so Team Green. I mentioned in my live stream, Alicent, what the fuck are you doing? You can't cut the Princess of Dragonstone. You can't do that. She overreacted greatly, in my opinion. I don't think she's being nice. I think she overreacted. I think Aemond said it. He lost an eye, but he gained the biggest dragon in the world. And also, it's just an eye. It's not like he lost an arm. Okay, an eye has a lot to do with depth perception, and he won't be able to see as good, and he won't be able to ride a horse and fight as well. But he still makes the best of the situation. And like, he wouldn't have lost that eye if he didn't steal Vhagar. So Alicent shouldn't have done nothing. It was an equal trade. Aemond, being the cool, calm, collected dude that he is, literally told her, it's okay. Like, I gained a dragon, you know? All right, so I think this is a really good point to wrap this video up. We did an hour. We broke down every single image. I think you guys know exactly what's going to happen in episode 8 now, thanks to me. No, I'm just kidding. Please slap a like on this video. Like goal is going to be 420. And then also make sure you're subscribed. I'm really close to reaching 100,000 here on YouTube. Let me check and see how many subs I have right now. Let's see. So yes, 99,783. So I'm 217 subscribers away from 100,000. When Game of Thrones went off, I had 106,000. That went all the way down to 94,000. I don't know what happened. I continued to make content. My videos got better and better, but YouTube decided to shadow ban me. So in order to defeat that, in order to combat that, I'm asking you, subscribe, please, if you enjoy my shit. Also, slap a like on this video. Like I just said, like was going to be 420. And then this is the most important part. Consider checking out my Patreon. For as little as $1, you get to listen to unfiltered Mark and also content that'll never be uploaded to YouTube. And there's also a few different tiers if you want to check out some different rewards for joining those tiers. For instance, there's a Dragon Knight tier. It's got 1 spot left, where if you give me a video topic and like some solid evidence behind it, I'll make a video for it. Right now, I'm in the process of waiting for more information to come out, and I'm working on a Long Claw Jon Snow Dark Sister video for my patron in the North Must Remember, but there's not enough information yet, and it'd actually be easier if you do join that tier and you want to suggest a video topic, if you do most of the bones of the research yourself and then give it to me, because it'll still take me 9.5 hours to make that video. But if you have all of the information presented like appropriately, it just makes it easier, right? So I try to, I don't know, work it out that way. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Along natin sa risas pusdari Ixos Daor.